Saving money feels pointless. Not because you're bad with money, not because you're irresponsible, but because something changed and nobody told you. You do what you're supposed to do. You save a little every month. You avoid stupid purchases. You try to be careful. And yet, you don't feel safer. You don't feel ahead. You don't feel like you're making progress. It's a strange feeling because on paper, you're doing the right thing, but emotionally, it feels like standing still. Most people assume this means they're failing, that they're lazy, that they don't earn enough, that they made bad choices, but that's not what's happening. For a long time, saving money actually worked. Prices moved slowly, your salary felt stable, time was on your side. If you saved consistently, your money kept its meaning. It represented effort, security, future options. Today, that relationship is broken. Prices don't wait anymore. They move faster than habits, faster than raises, faster than planning. Your money doesn't disappear overnight. It just quietly loses relevance. So people respond by saving more, and somehow feel worse. They cut small pleasures, delay things they enjoy, follow every rule they were taught, and instead of feeling responsible, they feel punished. This creates a strange contradiction. You're being careful, but you feel anxious. You're saving, but you feel behind. You're doing everything right, but nothing feels rewarding. That's because saving itself isn't the problem. Saving is a tool, and tools only work when they match the environment. The world where saving was enough doesn't exist anymore, but nobody updated the rules. We're still using old advice in a system that works very differently. And when it doesn't work, people blame themselves. That's why even people with money in the bank feel uneasy, why progress feels invisible, why effort doesn't feel proportional to reward. You're not imagining this, and you're definitely not alone. For decades, there was an unspoken deal. Work, save, wait, and things would eventually align. That deal held because the system had friction. Prices adjusted slowly, markets moved predictably. Your effort had time to compound. If you saved money years ago, it still felt like it meant something later. The erosion was gentle enough to ignore. But something shifted. Money was printed to solve crises. Housing became an investment instead of shelter. Healthcare detached from wages, and prices started moving like information, instantly, globally, algorithmically. Your rent doesn't wait for your raise. Your grocery bill doesn't care that you budgeted carefully. Meanwhile, your salary still moves at the old pace. This is the gap people feel but can't always name. It's not that you're earning less, it's that your earning power decays faster than it used to. Saving became like running on a treadmill that speeds up every few months. You're not slower, the ground beneath you changed. And nobody announced this shift. The advice didn't update, so people kept playing by old rules in a new game. And when it didn't work, they assumed they were the problem. But you're not the problem. The system changed. That's not a moral failure, it's a mismatch. So people try to adapt. They save harder, cut deeper, optimize everything. And it works, kind of. The savings account grows, but the feeling doesn't change, because they're solving for the wrong variable. The old model assumed your biggest risk was spending too much. Today, your biggest risk isn't overspending. It's that everything you're saving for is moving away from you faster than you can save. The house, the emergency fund, the retirement that feels secure, these aren't static targets anymore. You save money this month, but the thing you're saving for costs more than it did just a few months ago. You can't win a race where the finish line has a motor. That's why cutting out small pleasures feels so demoralizing. You're not gaining ground. You're just suffering more while standing still. Then there's the advice to invest instead of save, which isn't wrong exactly, but it introduces a new kind of stress. Now you're not just managing money, you're managing risk, timing, complexity. For a lot of people, that feels like being told, saving doesn't work anymore, so just get good at gambling. So they're stuck between two bad options: save traditionally and watch purchasing power erode, or enter markets they don't understand and risk losing everything. Neither feels like security. And that's because we're still pretending this is about individual choice. You can't budget your way out of structural change. You can't personal finance your way out of costs that grow faster than wages. Saving still matters. Investing still matters. But the idea that doing everything right guarantees security, that promise broke. And it's okay to be angry about that. It's okay to grieve the stability previous generations had. It's okay to mourn the future careful planning was supposed to buy. But at some point, you have to decide. Are you going to keep playing a game that doesn't work? Or are you going to write new rules? Not perfect rules, just honest ones. You're not failing. You're navigating something harder than before with outdated maps. That's not your fault, but it is your reality. And the people who thrive won't be the ones who save the hardest or sacrifice the most. They'll be the ones who adapt fastest, who build flexibility into their lives, who stop waiting for safety and start creating it. Not because they're special, but because they're willing to see things clearly. And that clarity, that willingness to face reality without flinching, matters more now than any savings account, any portfolio, any plan that assumes the world will stay still. The world won't stay still, but you can learn to move with it. And that's not pointless. That's power.